Welcome everyone, another great video. We're talking
Hmm.
retirement concerns, retirement
Yes,
fears, because everyone has retirement
they do.
fears. That is very common, and they do change throughout retirement. We're going to
Hmm.
tackle that, provide solutions with a little bit of data. Let's jump right into the data. This comes from CPP Investments. They did a survey. They did in August of 2024. That's when they conducted the survey.
Yep.
4,786 Canadians outside of Quebec, because CPP.
CPP, not QPP.
Exactly. And then they came out with the data end of October, beginning of November there, and that's what we're going to base this on. Let's jump right in to the first table.
So yeah, and I mean, this is basically what your financial stress and anxiety is by your age. So theoretically, in the early years, you're going to have that sort of a scenario where you're seeing lots of anxiety coming up, at least on the top end of the line. It's still low when you're young. You're not worried about what's going on because you still got a large career ahead of you. But as you see, those lines on the top two gradually start to decrease as you get older and older. But you get that peak line anywhere between that sort of 45 and 54 age with the financial stress and anxiety sitting there. And then all of a sudden, everything starts to deteriorate by that one. And it gets less and less as you go on.
Yeah, exactly. So that peak financial planning stress, it's midlife. It's 45 to 54. And then in all cases, the day-to-day financial stress, the anxiety about money, the financial planning stress, they all decline the
Yep.
older you get. You notice they all taper off when you get to that 60 to 64 zone, and then even more so when you get to 65
Plus,
plus. So you can see it's not consistent throughout. Certain fears
never.
fade, other priorities come in, but peak midlife when it comes to financial planning stress related to that one we see all the time.
Exactly.
And this survey did highlight, but we're going to add a little nuance here. It did highlight, according to the survey, 61% of Canadians are afraid of running out of money during retirement. It's one that comes up again and again
Always.
and again. This particular survey showed a little nuance that is not consistent
No.
across all age categories. Some folks worry about that more than others.
Yeah, and as you mentioned, it's 60. It's over that entire time frame. It's not like we're just doing it on a small thing. We're doing it sort of 18 till you retire. So
Mhm.
that's why you get the 61. But as we notice, it is one of those ones that dips down. So as you see in the early part of years, yeah, there's a sort of that some fear and anxiety, but basically in that 45 to 54% range, that's where you get your fears there at 39. And then of
Yeah.
course, that is the biggest sort of fear area. And then from there, again, all starts to ease off, ease off, and ease off the further you get in. Once you hit that 65 plus, well, you're probably in retirement now. You have an idea as to what's going on. So your fears just minimize and they go from there.
Yeah, and the exact question they asked was, how confident do you feel that you will or have enough money saved to last throughout your entire retirement? So they're asking people, are you confident, not so confident, unsure? And the ones that replied confident, that's what we're graphing here. So folks are very confident, like in the 65 plus category. That means they're not very worried. If
Nope.
they're not so confident, which is the 45 to 54 category, that means they're very worried about running out of money. And you can see the worry about running out of money or the lack of confidence you'll have enough, that tends to peak right around that midlife, which kind of correlates with the prior chart where it
Yeah.
showed
Financial
financial planning
stress.
stress peaking around that time as well. We'll talk about how these things change throughout retirement and how priorities shift and what you can do about it. But first, if you have questions on this or anything else, how do people get a hold of us?
Chatwithclintonandkevin.com. By all means, send in questions. If you do have retirement fears, you want to know more about retirement or any other financial matters that you're looking at, please send the questions to us. They do go directly to Clinton and myself. They are not some robo answers or anything else along those lines. We will get back to you as quickly as we can. But also, there's another aspect that we have in regard to this.
Newsletter. If you like videos like this, we have a weekly newsletter with similar tips, little financial planning nuggets that you can use in your day-to-day life. Also, we do a couple of free webinars per year, and we invite the folks that are on the newsletters. If you want to be part of the free webinars, you need to be in the newsletter community. There's a link in the description if you want to sign up. Back to the financial fears. We mentioned that midlife peak when it comes to running out of money, that concern. And you can see on the chart here the phases of retirement. There's a
That's
couple.
it.
We've used this in the past. And as you progress through those phases, your concerns, your fears, your priorities, they are going to shift.
Yeah, and that's basically what we've said. If you look at either any of these things, the early part of it, that's your accumulation. You have kids, you're
Mhm.
starting work, you got the house, you've got debt to pay out. So you're really not looking as loud for where I'm going to be retired. You don't have as much of that fear or anxiety going on or worry that I'm not going to have enough. By the time you get to that pre-retirement stage, that's that 45 to 54 sort of age range. That's the one we've been dealing with the most. This is the one where you've got most of those things solved, but have I saved enough to be able to retire? Will I have to work till I'm 65 or 70? That's where you start to get that. You finally move into that sort of early retirement phase. Yeah, okay, I'm living sort of the same way. Things seem to be good. If I'm not having any problems, then you move to that mid range and get to the later responses, which, as we've seen at 65, tend to drop off on that fear and anxiety and also have that, you know what, I'm going to have enough money to be able to survive. So you are getting those sort of accumulations and those phases of retirement, and they're working exactly as we said beforehand, compared to what the charts are showing us.
Yeah, and the priority shifts. So we mentioned that
Yep.
pre-retirement, that yellow circle, that's kind of where you get peak financial planning stress. That's where you're really worried, or at least according to the data, most folks are worried, are they going to have enough? Early retirement, as I mentioned, you're enjoying life. You're probably more thinking income stability, tax minimization. Those things tend to float to the top of the priority
Much
list.
more so.
Mid and later retirement, usually more estate focused. What am I going to leave as a legacy for my kids, for my grandkids? Is there tax efficient ways to pass that money along? So the priorities change. That's really the whole key here. How do you handle that? What's the solution? And this was just tailor made for us. This came
Yes.
right out of the survey, a direct quote. We'll read it here. Canadians with a financial plan are less concerned about outliving retirement savings. Among non retirees, having a financial plan was the top reason they're not afraid of running out of retirement income. It just fits right in with the Becker motto.
Yeah, basically what we've told you all the time in every video, we say have a plan. That's what you need. You can't go into this thing haphazard and just say I'm going to retire tomorrow. I have no idea what I'm doing beyond that. That gives that fear, that stress, and everything else that's going on. Have a plan. As that says, those that have a plan feel much better, whether it's retiree or non-retiree. It helps you get through peace of mind, sleeping at night. So again, as you progress through retirement, of course, your priorities will change. And what we have to do when we do that, we revisit the budget. We revisit
Yeah.
the plan again and we update if we need to. But having that plan is crucial to having all these retirement fears basically start to wash away.
I think that's the whole concept right there. And if you like this video, you're certainly going to like the one on the screen right now, all about retirement spending myths. Click on that one. We'll see you again very soon.
Take care.